Welcome to Learner's Planet students. Students, in the previous session we discussed about methods of separation of substances, and we also discussed about some other processes like sedimentation, decantation, filtration and evaporation. So in this session we will continue with more processes, with more such methods. So let's start with this session. First, we will study about solution and solubility. Students, we will understand these terms by taking one example. Students, when we add some salt to water and if we stir it, we will see that the salt disappears after some time. Right? Why this happens? Because the salt has dissolved in the water. Right? So salt is such a substance that it has such a property, then whenever we add it to water and we stir it, it will dissolve in the water, right? So what is this process known as? Yes, it is known as dissolving. So how can we define it? Yes, dissolving is a change where substances mix completely with the liquid they have been added to and cannot be separated easily. That means most probably water is used as a liquid, but other than water there are many other liquids in which the substances can mix and it can be dissolved. So this process in which any kind of substance mixes with any kind of liquid completely and then it cannot be spotted or separated easily is known as dissolving, right? So I am sure that you are clear with this term. Let's move on to some more examples. Let's see what is actually meant by soluble and insoluble substances. Yes. Students, do all substances dissolve in water? Have you ever gave a thought that do all materials like sand and chalk dissolve in water? No, this is not possible. All substances do not dissolve in water, and because of this they are based, and because of this they are divided into two things, that is soluble and insoluble. So substances like salt in water which dissolve easily in water are called as soluble substances, right? And we can say that they are soluble in water, right? And the substances like chalk and sand do not dissolve in water, so we can say that they are insoluble in water. So the substances which will dissolve, that means they are soluble in water, and substances that do not dissolve in water are called as insoluble substances, means they are insoluble in water, right? So I hope you are clear with this term. Let's move on. Yes. Now we will discuss about solute, solvent and solution. So first of all we will study this term which is known as solute. So what is meant by solute, students? The component of a solution which is present in lesser amount is called the solute. Always remember that we are not only talking about liquid or solid substances, right? You must be thinking that solute means it would be solid substance, but that is not true. Every time solute does not mean any solid substance which is added to the water or which is added to any liquid. It can be liquid also, right? Solute can be in the liquid form also, and that is why we have to remember these terms, that the component of a solution which is present in lesser amount is called the solute, or the component of a solution which is added to the solvent is called as solute. So these both definitions are clear to you, right? So always remember that the component of a solution which is added to the solvent, and here the solvent can act as water also or any other liquid, right? And it can be solid also or it can be liquid also, right? So always remember this. So I hope you are clear with the term solute. Now let's move on to next term. Yes, solvent. The component of a solution which is present in more amount is called the solvent. Or we can say now the component of a solution in which solute is added is called the solvent. Alright. So this is clear to you. Let's move on to next term. Yes, solution. Now we are clear with the term solute and solvent. So this is clear that this component of a solution which is present in lesser amount is solute, and the component of a solution which is present in more amount is solvent, right? And the homogeneous mixture of two or more components or substances is termed as solution, right? So it is the homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Means we will take an example like solute plus solvent will give out solution. For example, sugar plus water will make sugar solution. Salt plus water will make salt solution. So any such kind of solute and solvent mixture can yield solution, right? Alright. So we will take one more example over here, that if we keep adding teaspoonfuls of sugar to water and we will stir the solution each time, we will notice that there are some grains of sugar which settle down at the bottom of the solution. That means all the sugar has not dissolved in the water, right? So this shows that no more sugar can be dissolved. Now there is a limit that sugar will not dissolve. So we can say that the solution has become saturated. Saturated means it will not dissolve now. If we are adding, just take an example that we are taking a glass of water, right? And in that glass of water we are adding only 1 teaspoon of sugar, teaspoonful of sugar, right? And we are stirring it. Now it has been dissolved totally. But if we are adding, if we are taking, now we are taking another glass, right? And if we are adding 5 teaspoonful of sugar and we are stirring it, so what will happen? In the first glass, the solution which is prepared, that is like complete sugar, sugar has completely dissolved in the first glass, right? But in the second glass, that is the second glass of water, we added much sugar, that is 5 teaspoonful of sugar, and we are stirring it still. But we can say that some of the sugar has been dissolved, as it is its property of dissolving in the water or dissolving in the solvent, right? But there are some grains of sugar which has settled down at the bottom of the solution, that is the second glass, right? This shows that no more sugar can be dissolved, and that is why when no more solute can dissolve in the solvent, that means it has become saturated. So what is actually meant by a saturated solution? Yes, a saturated solution is the one or is the solution in which no more of the solute can be dissolved. That is why this is the definition of solute, that the component of a solution which is lesser in amount, right? And if it is more in amount, then what will happen? It will not dissolve, right? And if it is even half of the solvent, then also it will dissolve, but it will dissolve only 50%, and rest of the 50% will be settled at the bottom of the solution. And that is why this is termed as saturated solution, in which we can still see the solute in the solvent. That means it is not totally dissolved, right? Yes, the ability of a substance to dissolve in a given liquid is called solubility, right? So are you clear with this? Just recall the example which we took, right? In the first glass of water, we added only 1 teaspoonful of sugar, and when we stirred it, what happened? Yes, the sugar dissolved completely. So what is it termed as? This will be termed as solubility, because it has been dissolved properly. It has dissolved totally, right? And the one in which the solution in which no more of the solute can be dissolved is termed as saturated solution. And here the ability of a substance to dissolve in a given liquid is called as solubility, right? So this is the difference. So it depends upon us that in how much amount we are adding solute and in how much quantity we are adding, right? So we can increase or decrease the solubility of a solute, right? We can increase the solubility by heating the solution, or we can decrease the solubility by freezing the solution, right? So it depends upon us, right? So what if we heat the solution? Can we then dissolve that extra sugar, that extra grains of sugar which has been settled down at the bottom of the solution? Can this be possible? Can we dissolve the extra sugar in the already saturated solution? Yes, we can dissolve it by heating the solution. That means we can say that the solubility of a solute has increased. Yes, the solubility of the solute increases by heating the solution. That means the quantity of a substance that can dissolve in hot water is much more as compared to that in cold water. That is why we are saying that increase of the solubility of a solute takes place when we heat the solution. But when we cool the solution, what happens? The solubility of the solute will decrease. It will not increase. And that is why the quantity of a substance that can dissolve in hot water is much more than in the cold water, right? So these all things depend upon some factors. So let's see some of the factors that increases the solubility of a solute. Yes, there are some other factors that increase the solubility of the solute apart from heating the solution. Yes, the first one is stirring. So stirring, for understanding stirring process, we will take some example. Let's see. We can observe this by taking 2 glasses of water and adding a teaspoonful of sugar to each glass, right? As we took an example, the same example before. Keep one glass undisturbed and stir the other glass, right? So in which one the sugar will dissolve faster? Yes, sugar will dissolve faster, or sugar dissolves faster in the glass in which the solution is stirred, right? That means if we will not provide anything, or we will not provide any impact on it in the glass of water, then what will happen? Solute cannot dissolve by its own, right? It has to be stirred to make it dissolve, right? That doesn't mean that any of the solute does not dissolve completely in the solvent, right? In a full glass of water, if you are adding a pinch of salt, or if you are adding just some amount of salt, then even if you do not stir it, it will dissolve. It will not dissolve completely, but it will dissolve somewhat, and some of the grains of the salt will appear at the bottom of the solution. That means we are just discussing about how faster the reaction takes place here, right? So always remember that sugar dissolves faster in that solvent in which the solution is stirred, right? So this is one such method by which, or this is one such factor by which we can increase the solubility of the solute. Solubility of the solute means a solute which dissolves in the solvent, or which dissolves in dissolve completely. The ability of a solute which dissolves completely, right? Let's move on to the another factor. Yes, another factor is solute in the powdered form, right? Always remember, students, that solute in the powdered form dissolves faster than the solute which is present in the solid form. We will see this by taking such one example. Again, take 2 glasses of water as shown in the figure like this, and put a whole sugar cube in one glass and powdered or crushed sugar cube in the other one. Can you see this? Right? So just think about it. Which one will dissolve faster? The cube one or the powdered one? Yes, the sugar in the powdered form will dissolve faster than the sugar which is present in the cube form, right? Why this happens? This happens because different substances dissolve in different amounts of water while making saturated solution. This is one such note which you have to keep in mind, right? Always remember that solute in the powdered form will dissolve faster than the solute present in the solid form, right? So this is one such thing which you have to keep in mind. There are many different substances, different solutes, different solvents. So they dissolve in different amount of water, or we can say any different amount of solvent while making a saturated solution. Alright. So students, I hope that this session is clear to you and you learned about solution and solubility, right? So we will meet in the next session with a new lesson. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying. Thank you.